Welcome to this cozy winter warmer, a quick 20-minute practice for a day of recovery. So if you've been on a long run or you've taxed your muscles in some way, or you're just feeling like you need something more restorative, but you still want to build some warmth internally, then this would be a good option. In terms of props, 2 bricks and a good thick blanket will be really handy, and you'll need a little bit of wall space for one of the passive stretches that we'll get to at the end. When you've got your props, join me on all fours and step your hands 1 handprint further forwards. Begin to circle your hips, big, generous, sweeping circles, moving the hips back towards the heels and forwards and across the wrists. And as you do this, start to connect to your breathing, taking about 4 to 5 seconds for the inhale, a moment pause at the top before a 4 to 5 second exhale with a pause at the bottom. Go for another few in this direction. You'll notice that the shoulders and the spine also get involved, and then switch out your direction. Plug your palms actively into the ground. Gentle grip with the fingertips. Feel how that secures your shoulders and upper back. 2 more rounds. Just noticing how it's feeling in your body as you're waking up. And then come to neutral. Reset into all fours where your shoulders stack above your wrists. And begin a few rounds of cat-cow. Inhaling, lengthening your chest forwards. Exhale, rounding your back. So you don't need me to call through cat-cow. You probably heard the instructions a million times. So just let yourself go inwards to feel. What is the musculature of your spine reflecting back at you? Are there any segments or joints of your vertebra that are feeling a little bit more stuck, sticky? Without judgment, just noticing. And after your next round, come to stillness and take a big step forwards with your right foot outside your right wrist. Spike up onto your fingertips. Inhale, press your hips forwards and down as you lift and spread your collarbones. Exhale, shoot your hips back into a half split variation, but don't worry about fully extending your right leg. We're just going to warm up. Inhale, bend your front knee, lift your chest. Exhale, extend your front leg, gently fold in. And if you have your bricks to hand and you feel like they would assist you, then bring them into the equation underneath your hands. Bending and extending, moving from low lunge to half splits, just a few times. Keep your legs active as you're moving. We're building some heat before we go into some passive stretches, but don't worry, this is a cozy option, so it won't be anything too taxing. We're just allowing some space back into the body. All right, the next time you come back into your half splits variation, I would suggest gathering the bricks underneath you on whatever setting serves you, but having a little bit more height allows for what we're going to do next. Press actively down into your front heel and begin to windscreen wiper your foot from side to side. So there becomes an external and internal rotation deep within the hip socket. And we're not swaying the bum around, it's just the thigh bone moving within the hip socket as best as you can control. Go for another 2 or so rounds. And neutral. Now you're going to bring both of your bricks outside your right thigh. You may need to scoot your right foot a little bit further in towards the midline. And if you need more height on your bricks, take it. Inhale, pull back on the heel as you draw your right hip up and back. Exhale, elongate your chest forwards and out. And then you're just exploring the sensations. Notice where your foot points. Track your toes straight up, skywards above the heel, and you're actively pulling your foot back towards your calf muscle throughout. Keep fighting for length in your spine, shining the right sit bone up and back behind you. 2 more breath cycles. One more in and out. Leave the bricks where they were. Inhale, bend into your front knee deeply. And you might want to scoot your right heel back a bit so that your shin can track forwards beyond the toes. Pivot your back shin across to the right side. And now you're going to use your right elbow to really spread your right thigh bone forwards and down so that your sit bone is tracking down towards your heel. If your heel is lifted off the ground, you've gone too far. We're aiming to stretch the calf and the Achilles tendon, so just pause there. It's like you're pushing your foot through the ground throughout, and you'll also be getting a generous outer hip stretch on the back left thigh. Check your knee is tracking in line with your toes, and keep a lift through the inner arch so that your footprint is active. A few more breaths. And then keep the weight pouring forwards and spike up onto your front tippy toes. Now you're going to be getting into the big toe joint, like wearing your invisible heels. Keep pouring some weight forwards for just a few more breaths. Still stretching the outer back leg. And release. Right heel comes down to the ground, fingertips to the front. Tuck under your back toes and lift the knee. Plug your right hand down flat, left hand down flat under the shoulder. The back of your right hand will come to your left jawbone. Inhale, twist right elbow to the sky. Screw your left shoulder onto your back for support. Twist down. Exhale, right elbow slides towards the inner right ankle. Moving between the two. Twist elbow to the sky, breathe in. Twist elbow to the ankle, breathe out. Go for a few more rounds. Inhale, twist. Exhale, reach down. Inhale, twist. Exhale, down. One more up to the sky. And this time stay down. Lizard, you could stay on your hands or you could lower down onto your forearms. If you're feeling fatigued in the back leg, no problem, pop the knee down. If you want something a little bit more active, you can keep the back knee lifted. So we're preparing for our final stretch where we'll be using the blanket and the wall. And it will be getting deep into our quads and hip flexors. So this is the build up in lizard. You could rock forwards, you could circle the hips gently, whatever helps you marinate in this stretch. Breathing in and out through your nose as your body opens. Pop the back knee down if it was lifted. Rise onto your hands if you were on your forearms. Slide your right heel back and press to an upright 90-90. So we want a right angle beneath both knees. Scoop the pubic bone up, tailbone down so you get neutral in the pelvis. Inhale, reach both arms up to the sky. Exhale, interlace your hands behind your head but scoop the elbows forwards. We'll introduce a slight upper back bend. So the aim is to keep all of the lower body super secure so that the upper body can move away. Inhale, lift up through your collarbones. Exhale, arch just the thoracic spine. So what we tend to do is make it really dramatic and dump our weight down. Instead, focus on it being really lifted, buoyant and elevated, and you're just using the upper back muscles to extend the thoracic spine. One more breath in and out. Come up and reset, downward facing dog. Tuck under the back toes, step back. Plank, inhale, roll forwards. Exhale, lower your knees and come down to the ground. Cobra, inhale, squeeze your upper back. Down dog, exhale, push hips to heels and extend your legs. Inhale to high plank. Exhale, hover your knees just above the ground. Use your core for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Place the knees. Second side, step your left foot outside your left wrist and spike up onto your fingertips. Inhale, pelvis sinks forwards and down as you lift your chest. Exhale, move your hips back as you come into a half split variation, but the left foot is wide. Moving between the two, inhale, bend your front knee, lift your chest. Exhale, extend your front leg and fold in. And of course, you could use the bricks. if that supports you. But don't worry about fully extending your leg. You're just moving within whatever range is available. And as this is a recovery class, it might be so that there is some sensation and some tenderness in your body. So just honor that. Treat this movement as self-care. One more inhale and bend. And the next time that you exhale and extend, stay. Gather your bricks under your hands and have it on a height setting that means you can lengthen your spine. The wrists are directly under the shoulders. We'll go for the windscreen wipers. Turn the toes out and in without anything else moving. Just the bones of your thigh rotating internally and externally deep within the hip socket. So it's almost like all of the muscles of your leg are wrapping around the bone, so nothing's floppy, it's all controlled. And you're pulling your heel back, sucking the thigh bone really up into the hip, and then find your foot neutral, pointing straight up. Take your bricks over to the left side of your left thigh. Inhale, drag your heel back as if you could shine your sit bone up the back wall. Exhale, push into the bricks and stretch your chest forwards and across to the left side. And you'll be feeling this right deep in the outer hip, the IT band, maybe even all the way down to the outer calf muscle, depending on where you hold tension in your body. This might feel quite sensational. For me, it definitely does. Feel for softening through the back of the knee as you let space come behind the knee joint. Wash your breath through whatever is arising. One more breath in and out. Inhale, rebend your front knee. Leave your bricks where they were on the side, hands down inside your front foot. Exhale, tuck under your back toes and lift the knee. If you're feeling like keeping the knee down will support you more, do that. And we'll go for our twists. The back of your left hand comes to the right cheek. Inhale, twisting to the sky, elbow lifts, and feel how with the hand on your cheek, it moves the rotation all the way up into the neck. Exhale, elbow down inside your front ankle. Moving between the two. Inhale, twisting up. Exhale, twisting down. And then just move freely between the two at a pace that allows you to feel it and articulate as many bones of your vertebra as you can. I like to imagine myself like a wet towel wringing myself out from the center. Last twist to the sky, inhale. And when you twist down, stay, exhale. Option to come down into a lizard, meaning you're lowering the forearms, or you could stay up on your hands, the back knee up or down as you wish. And you could wiggle around, you could hold it static. Just allow yourself to prime the opening of your right quad, softening around the left hip crease, keeping your feet active and your breath steady. One more breath cycle here. Coming into your 1990 lunge, slide the front foot back slightly, press to rise, and organize your foundation before you go further. So we want these 90-degree angles beneath the knees, tailbone down, pubic bone up, just to level out the pelvis, front to back, but also side to side. Arms up, inhale, bending the elbows, hands behind the head, exhale, turn your armpits forwards, feel your scapula wrap around your side ribs. Thoracic upper back bend. Inhale, lift your ribs, all four corners away from your hips. Exhale, arching just through the thoracic spine. I like to squeeze my legs together like a pair of scissors and breathe. Finish up. And now we're going to use the wall. So I like to really double, triple, quadruple fold my blanket, wedge it all the way up to the base of the wall. Bring your blocks with you. I like them on the highest setting possible. Start with your left knee back against the base of the wall with your toes pointing up. It might be that your knee has to be a little bit away from the wall, but eventually you'll get your knee to the back, to the base rather. Then utilize your bricks to take some weight out of your front knee and lunge your front foot forward. So that 90-90 stance that we began with. You could leave your blocks there and then take a moment just finding an upright position through the spine. If you need to keep the weight forwards on your bricks, do that. But eventually we're looking to get your back, tailbone, spine all the way towards the wall. But as you'll notice, this is a deep quad stretch, this is a very big muscle group. The 4 muscles of the hip flexors down the front of your thigh, and the rec fem goes over the kneecap. So it's a really big muscle and it does a lot of work for us, which means that this can also hold a lot of tension, especially if you're a runner, a cyclist, a dancer, whatever other movement you do throughout your week. So give yourself the time to soften into this one. As we were doing in our 90-90, feel the pubic bone lift up towards your belly button. The tailbone tracks down the wall towards the floor. And you can even press the top of your left foot into the wall slightly. It might move your hips away from the wall, but that's okay. You'll just notice how it recruits the muscles that you're stretching slightly. And then we can take it into more of a front lunge. So allow your hips to move away from the wall. Front knee tracks forwards over the toes. That's just made me realize that we forgot the calf muscle stretch on the second side, but we'll get there, don't worry. Luckily, we did prepare this side. So let your right knee track forwards in line with your toes. Right sit bone moving down towards the right heel like we practiced. And then you can go in for your thoracic upper back bend, maybe even the fingertips on the bricks. Inhale, squeeze the legs together like scissors, lift through your thoracic spine. Exhale, arch just the upper back. You could even raise your arms up, hands behind the head like we were doing, press into the wall and arch. Few breaths to feel it all come together. And release, hands to the bricks. Bring your right knee down, and then you can slide your left knee forwards. Sit back onto your heels. So before we go on to the second side, we'll do a quick left calf muscle warm up. So lunge your left foot forwards and just let your knee track forwards over the toes. You can pivot your right shin over to the side slightly just to allow you to sit your weight into the front ball of the foot whilst keeping the heel rooted. I like to use my forearm to press the knee away from me to help encourage more weight to stretch the Achilles tendon. As we did on the first side, spike up your front heel just to stretch the big toe mound. It's good. And you'll be getting an outer right hip stretch. A few breath cycles. And release the heel down. Now we're switching sides. The right knee will come onto your blankets down by the base of the wall-ish. Use your hands on the bricks, steady, and then you can lunge your left foot away. Start by exploring the pelvis, moving back towards the wall. But if you need to stay forwards because it's too intense, your bricks are there to help you. And you may notice quite a vast disparity from one side to the other. For me, the right side is a stronger muscle group. It's more dominant than my left, and therefore it also holds a bit more power and tension. So notice that for yourself. And when you come to practice this class again, you could even pause the class and hold the side that needs more space for a little bit longer, maybe 5 or so more breaths. Use your intuition. No one will know your body better than you. I like to imagine that my knee, the bent knee at the back, is sinking down through quicksand. You can press the front of the foot into the wall slightly, engaging the glute. This will help track your tailbone down. And then we'll come into the front lunge. Let your left knee track forwards as your pelvis moves away from the wall. You could use the blocks as much or as little as you like here. And you're pushing the floor away so that although the gravity is helping, you're also active within that. Optional back bend. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, hand behind the head if you wish. And then you can take as much or as little of a back bend as feels good for you. Stretching through your abs, through your armpits, through your thoracic spine. Coming out, hands to the bricks. Pop your left knee down and slide your back knee away from the wall. We'll come into our closing pose, child's pose. Bring your toes together at the back, knees out wide. And then walk your way out into a passive child's pose. Your hands could be as active or as passive as you like. You could use any props that you have to hand. You could even pop on a jumper and some socks, but we're just using this pose to neutralize. Calm your breathing. Perhaps you're already able to notice some more space in your body, some more ease in the musculature of your spine and upper back. Take one more full breath in and a complete breath out. Walk your hands back and lift up. You could close your practice here, or you could take any version of final relaxation that serves you. That could be classic Shavasana, leg goes up the wall, anything, or you can just close with me now. Eyes quiet, chin bowed. Just taking a moment of gratitude for this practice, for this act of self-care. Namaste.